Discover the incredible day a mechanic became her boyfriend. The heartwarming truth was exposed. Emma wiped the grease from her hands on a rag, gazing at the sunset that painted Maplewood in warm hues of orange and pink. It smelled of home-warm pies cooling on windowsills, wood smoke curling up from backyard fires. But that comfort felt distant as she thought about her father, sick and struggling. Bills clung to their house like weeds, and her heart tightened at the thought of losing the only place that held her childhood dreams. After another grueling day at the garage, Emma stepped into Jake's diner, where the glow of neon lights brushed away the day's darkness. Jake, with his easy smile and tousled hair, welcomed her like the sun breaking through clouds. They shared stories that danced between dreams and struggles, their laughter spilling over cups of coffee. Emma felt seen in ways she hadn't in years. "Your hands are always grease-stained," Jake joked, his eyes sparkling, "yet you polish life with a different kind of shine." She chuckled, her heart racing for reasons she didn't fully understand. For the first time, someone was there, not just listening, but relating. When the diner closed, they lingered over the last slices of pie, stealing glances and sharing future hopes. Emma's feelings fluttered in her chest. Would her father accept this new spark of joy? The townsfolk had to embrace it too, didn't they? The warmth of the diner felt like a cocoon. Outside, Maplewood buzzed with small-town gossip, but it was inside that magic brewed. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Yet, the sweetness of their budding romance turned bitter with rumors that leaked from behind closed doors. Whispers claimed Jake, with his struggling diner, wasn't good enough for Emma. The air thickened with judgment. Emma felt the sharp sting of the town's prejudice, how quickly pride could morph into scorn. She watched Jake's confident smile fade as the barbs hit him. At the gas station, where their usual banter fell silent, a cruel word from a passerby shattered Jake's spirit. A mechanic with high hopes. The laughter that followed felt like a knife to Emma's chest. Her heart raced with anger and hurt, echoing the lessons her father taught her about loyalty. Should she turn away? Choose conformity and family? Or champion love, fight injustice, and stand with Jake? As she weighed her options, her mind blurred with memories of her father's sacrifices. The decision loomed, the weight of it pressing down like a heavy blanket. Just as she prepared to stand up for what was right, a phone rang out, echoing through her thoughts. Jake's face showed a mix of frustration and uncertainty. What would he say next? Would everything unravel before she could respond? With all the chaos entwined in their lives, one question remained: could love truly conquer when the world around them seemed poised to tear it apart? Emma had to choose. Would she dare to shake Maplewood to its core for the sake of her heart? Emma's heart felt like a storm cloud ready to burst as she watched Jake's fingers tighten around his phone. She could see the conflict in his eyes, the way tension rippled across his face. The diner felt stifling, drenched in unspoken words. Instead of picking up the call, he placed the device face down on the table. "Emma," he started, his voice a low murmur, barely above the diner's soft hum. "I hate to bring it up, but I hear what people are saying." She felt the words stab through her, heavy with weight. Could he sense her anxiety? Was he going to pull away, to suggest they should stop seeing each other? "Let them talk," she replied, trying to project confidence she didn't feel. "What do they know?" "They know all the bad parts. People around here, they don't think I'm enough for you." Each word was lined with hurt, and she hated that he had to worry about their love like this. He leaned back, creating distance she feared would deepen into something permanent. "In their eyes, a mechanic is just that," Jake continued, his voice shaky. But there's more I want for you, Em. I also want a good reputation. I don't want you getting dragged into my mess. Stop. Just, stop. She could hardly hold back the frustration bubbling up inside. You're not a mess. You're hardworking, kind, you're everything I want. You make me laugh. You understand me in ways no one else does. Why don't they see that? Jake seemed to soften a fraction, but it still wasn't enough to lift the weight on his shoulders. Their eyes locked, and she could see the pain in his gaze, a reflection of her own. For a moment, it felt like the world outside faded away. Just then, the door swung open, rupturing the tender bubble they'd created. Mrs. Thompson walked in, a firm fixture in their quaint town, clutching a small handbag. She stopped short when she saw them, her mouth set in a disapproving line. Well, what do we have here? Her voice oozed with judgment as she approached, casting furtive glances at their intimate table. You're really letting your standards slip, Emma. Even as her heart sank, Emma felt an ember of anger ignite. Jake clenched his fists, the color draining from his face. That's enough, Mrs. Thompson, Emma snapped, surprising herself with the fierceness in her tone. What you and the rest of the town think doesn't matter. What matters is how I feel. Mrs. Thompson's eyes widened, caught off guard by Emma's sudden stance. You think you'll just throw your life away for a mechanic? There was a mixture of disbelief and righteous anger in her voice, but Emma didn't care. Jake is more than a mechanic. He's a person. And he's good. Emma realized the words were flowing from her heart, unfiltered, strengthening her resolve. I won't let anyone dictate my choices or who I love. As Mrs. Thompson stood there, flabbergasted and speechless, Emma turned back to Jake, feeling a rush of adrenaline course through her veins. He was staring at her with wide eyes, something akin to awe had replaced his earlier pain. Are you really willing to fight for this? He whispered. She nodded, finding courage in his gaze. But just as the tension thinned, the weight of the moment settled back in. They were still in Maplewood, an unyielding little town full of judgment. Can love conquer this? Emma thought, her heart racing. The answer seemed as fragile as their love, and every fiber of her being prayed it could be true. Together? She asked softly, her voice breaking slightly. His smile returned a mix of hope and gratitude. But before he could answer, a siren blared in the distance, a stark reminder of the chaos still lurking beyond their little corner of comfort. What could they face next, when the town's scrutiny was only just the beginning? Emma's heart raced at the uncertainty. Would their love endure the trials ahead? The moment lingered between them, like a fragile promise hanging in the air. Emma held her breath, searching Jake's face for reassurance. She saw the flicker of fear behind his hopeful smile. It twisted her heart. With the siren fading into the distance, the diner resumed its familiar hum, but they were still suspended in their own storm, surrounded by shadows of doubt. Jake broke the silence first, his voice steadier this time. What if I'm not good enough for them? He leaned forward, urgency painting his features. What if you regret this, Emma? What if it all falls apart? I won't regret it, she insisted, her tone firm. And if it falls apart, then we'll figure it out together. But I refuse to let anyone else decide my happiness. Jake's gaze softened, and she could see the battle within him waging on. He opened his mouth to speak again, but the door swung open, and the couple's moment dissolved like sugar in hot coffee. Brad, a local who was known for his outspokenness and boisterous laughter, strolled in with a group of friends. Their carefree banter filled the room, drowning out the tension in the air. Look who we have here, Brad called out, his gaze landing on Emma and Jake. Laughter bounced off the walls, and Emma felt heat creep into her cheeks. Fancy seeing you two together, one of his friends chimed in, winking at Jake. Isn't that sweet? Emma turned to Jake, whose face had soured, the bright glimmer in his eyes dimming. Her heart twisted. This wasn't what they needed. Just ignore them, she whispered, squeezing his hand under the table. But the moment was brief, the laughter turned into murmurs, each word a jab. Did you hear about the latest mess in the shop? Another voice chimed in. I wouldn't want a relationship tied up in all that drama. The laughter erupted anew, and with each chuckle, Emma felt Jake withdraw. The walls he was building started to close in on her, trapping them both in an invisible cage of misunderstandings and fears. Her heart sank, knowing that they were not just fighting against insecurities but the entire town's perspective. Honestly, do you even feel safe dating him? Brad said, louder than necessary, eyes glinting with mischief. That was it. Emma couldn't sit there and let this go unchallenged again. This is not a joke, Brad, she shot back, her voice rising above the din. You don't get to belittle what we have. We're happy, and that's all that matters. The laughter fell away, and an awkward silence stretched between them. Emma could feel Jake's tension beside her, coiling tight like a spring ready to snap. See? Even she knows it's a joke, Brad scoffed, but this time he sounded unsure. No. What's a joke is how you think you can decide my life, Emma said, her heart racing but her conviction stronger than ever. I refuse to let you or anyone else dictate my happiness. Jake looked at her with a mixture of admiration and surprise, but she noticed the doubt still clinging to him. The world felt heavy, but there was a flicker of light still there, dancing in the uncertainty. As the crowd began to murmur again, Emma locked eyes with Jake, willing him to see what she was feeling. There was a resolve growing within her, a fire kindling that would make them fight. Let us show them, she suggested quietly, an idea blooming. Let us give them something to really talk about. Jake's surprise turned into a tentative smile. What do you mean? She leaned closer, her heart pounding with a mixture of fear and excitement. What if we stopped hiding? What if we let them see what we have? His expression shifted from doubt to intrigue. Are you sure? I know it won't be easy, but I want to be brave. I want us to be brave, Emma urged, determination flooding her voice. Together. The sound of glasses clinking and laughter faded into the background as she waited for his response. Did he feel the same urgency? Could they truly take that leap into the unknown? Jake hesitated, and just as the tension swelled again, the diner door swung open yet again, and a familiar figure stepped in. Emma's heart dropped. It was her father. What? Now? Would he support her fight, or would he turn against her? Emma held her breath, unsure of what was about to unfold. Emma's heart raced as she watched her father scan the diner. She could feel the weight of his presence, like a storm cloud ready to unleash its rain. His lips formed a tight line as he locked eyes with her across the crowded space. The noise from the diner faded to a dull roar, and all she could hear was her own heartbeat thrumming in her ears. What are you doing here? She mouthed to him, half embarrassed and half determined. He took a few steps inside, his gaze slipping from her to Jake, lingering with puzzled scrutiny. She felt a spark of tension crackle between the three of them, as if they were characters in a tense drama unfolding right before a live audience. Well, this is cozy, he finally called out, his voice smooth but cool. It was a dig, but also a warning. Jake straightened up, his earlier confidence seeming to waver. Emma squeezed his hand tighter, willing him to stay strong. Dad, we were just what? He interrupted, crossing his arms. There's gossip around town, and I'd like to understand if it's true. Emma fought to keep her voice steady. I'm happy, Dad. And I want you to understand that Jake is part of my life now. There's nothing wrong with that. The diner seemed to hold its breath, all eyes on the three of them. Brad and his friends watched with barely concealed smirks, feeding off the drama unfolding before them. You expect me to believe that he is good for you? Her father shot back, his eyes narrowing. He is a mechanic. What does he know about the world? That comment cut deep, and Emma's stomach churned. Jake stiffened next to her, the color draining from his cheeks. She could see the hurt flicker in his eyes, and it twisted something deep inside Emma. How could her father not see who was standing right in front of him? He's more than just a mechanic. Emma's voice rose, fueled by a mix of frustration and fear. He's good, Dad, and he makes me happy. Why can't you just let me decide what's best for me? Jake looked at her, a new light in his eyes. Her resolve ignited something in him. Mr. Thompson, I know I'm not from the same world as Emma, but I'm here to support her, and I promise to be there for her always. Emma could feel the room shift. There was weight in his words, a promise overshadowing the doubts that had clouded their path. Her father opened his mouth, about to respond, but Emma interrupted him, her heart racing with a burst of undeniable courage. Dad, if you can't accept this, then maybe you don't see me at all, she said, her voice trembling but firm. She took a deep breath, feeling the energy in the room change. I need you to accept me, the person I've become, even if the person I choose isn't what you expected. Silence enveloped the diner, the only sounds the clinking of dishes and the soft gasps from onlookers. Emma felt the weight of their stares. She desperately wished for her father to read the sincerity in her eyes, to see that love knows no boundaries or societal limitations. Finally, he exhaled slowly, his expression wavering between disappointment and something like understanding. I just want what's best for you, he said, his tone softening ever so slightly. Yes, and so do I, Jake interjected, his voice steady. But what's best for her is choosing her own path. Emma held her breath, unsure if that was enough to break through the walls her father had built. The moment hung in the air, thick with anticipation. And then a thought struck her, powerful and fragile like a fresh bloom in spring. What if this moment, this confrontation, opened doors they didn't even know existed? Dad, she said, her voice low and earnest, how can we ever know if it's meant to be if we don't give it a chance? He looked at her, hesitation painted across his face. Would he reach for her hand and pull her back into his protection, or would he finally take a step back, allowing her to carve her own path? Just then, tension broke like a wave crashing against rocks as a familiar voice cut through the silence, Emma. There you are. Emma's heart sank once more as she recognized the newcomer. What now? Would their moment be completely dismantled? She felt time freeze, every anxious heartbeat echoing the uncertainty that hung in the air. Emma turned slowly, dread pooling in her stomach as she faced the voice that called her name. It was Sarah, an old friend from school, and she had somehow slipped into the diner without Emma noticing. With her bright red hair and laughter that could fill any room, Sarah was the kind of friend that brought light and energy, but today, she felt like a storm brewing instead. Emma! Sarah exclaimed, rushing over. I couldn't believe it when I heard you were here with him. Her gaze bounced between Emma and Jake, an eyebrow raised. Emma felt Jake tense beside her, his confidence wavering again, like a flag caught in the wind. Hey, Sarah. Emma forced a smile, her heart racing not just from the confrontation with her dad, but now this added layer of tension. Why did Sarah have to show up now? What is going on? Sarah asked, oblivious to the thick atmosphere surrounding their group. The diner's chatter faded into the background as Emma unleashed a soft sigh, needing to explain while wanting to shield Jake from any unnecessary judgment. This is my boyfriend, Jake, Emma said, her own voice finding strength in the way she introduced him. Nothing could dim the pride she felt saying those words, especially after just defending their relationship before her father. But Sarah's smile faltered ever so slightly. A mechanic? She repeated, as if needing to confirm the information wasn't a mistake. It's not about that, Emma insisted. It's not about what he does. It's about who he is. I know, Sarah replied quickly, glancing back at Brad and his friends, who were now listening intently with grins plastered across their faces. I just didn't expect. She trailed off, searching for the right words, but Emma felt the weight of Sarah's judgment, even when it was unintentional. Can everyone just stop gawking? Jake finally spoke up, his voice steady but charged with an edge of discomfort. I care about Emma, and that should be enough. His gaze held Sarah's for a moment, revealing a flicker of hope that this would bridge the gap. See? That's all I need, Emma added, emboldened by Jake's words, ready to tackle any obstacles that came her way: her father, her friends, the gossip swirling around town. She could feel Jake's hand squeeze hers tighter as he stood resolute beside her. Look, Emma, I want you to be happy. Really, Sarah said, her voice softening. But I've heard things about him. Are you sure this is what you want? Why does everyone keep asking me that? Emma's voice rose a little, the frustration boiling beneath her skin. I am sure of what I want. Why can't anyone just support me? Emma felt tears prick her eyes, the struggle in her chest feeling heavier with every passing moment. I'm tired of defending my choices. She glanced at her father, hoping to see a shift in him, a sign that maybe he could accept her for who she was becoming. But he remained quiet, watching, analyzing. As Emma's resolve threatened to crack under the weight of so many opinions, the door swung wide again. This time, it was Miss Hardwick, the diner owner, bustling in with an order pad ready. Sorry I'm late. What can I get everyone? Relief washed over Emma, even if just for a moment. Ms. Hardwick never failed to brighten the mood, and for the first time, Emma realized that this was her life: the chaos, the uncertainty, but also the moments of joy in between. I'll take a cheeseburger, Jake said, easing the tension, his smile breaking through, reminding her why she cared so deeply for him. Emma caught her dad's eyes again, and in that brief, fleeting moment, she hoped to convey everything she felt. Could this still be salvaged? Would her father finally see, not just at Jake as a mechanic, but as the person her heart had chosen? Dad, Emma started, her voice low and filled with all the unsaid things, a desperate question lingering on her lips. But just then, the door swung open again, and a figure stepped inside who made Emma's heart drop: the last person she expected or wanted to see. What could this mean for her and Jake? Would this bring everything crashing down, or might it be the lifeline they so desperately needed? Emma's breath caught in her throat as she recognized the figure that strolled into the diner. It was Lily, her ex-best friend, the one who had drifted away during their last year of high school. Dressed to the nines, as usual, Lily's presence filled the room with a magnetic energy that felt all too familiar, but today was different. Today, Emma wasn't the same girl who would have rushed to her for validation and acceptance. Lily's gaze swept over the crowd, pausing only when it landed on Emma and Jake at their table. For a moment, the world felt suspended in time, tension crackling like static in the air. Emma could see Sarah's eyes widen in surprise, and even Jake's hand instinctively tightened around Emma's. Is that? Sarah whispered, her voice trailing off, but Emma could sense the unspoken question hanging between them all. Lily sauntered closer, a confident smile plastered on her face. Emma. I didn't expect to see you here, she announced, like she was the main act of a show. There was something close to arrogance in her tone, as if she was measuring Emma's worth against her perfect little world. And who is this? Your new mechanic boyfriend? The words dripped with sarcasm. Emma's heart raced, a storm of emotions swirling inside her. She could feel the eyes of their peers on them, waiting for some kind of fallout. Yes, this is Jake. And he's more than just a mechanic, Emma replied, trying to maintain her composure. He's my boyfriend. The words felt like a declaration, a firm stamp on her choices. Lily raised an eyebrow, amusement dancing in her eyes. Oh, I see. You used to have such high standards, Emma. Things must have changed. The comment landed like a punch, and Emma felt the heat rise to her cheeks. Things haven't changed, I have, she replied, her voice more steady than she felt. I want someone real, not just someone who gets through life on charm alone. Lily's smile faltered slightly, revealing a flash of annoyance. Real? Isn't that just a polite way to say you've settled? You used to dream big, you know. Before Emma could respond, Jake interjected. Look, I'm not here to compete with anyone's past. I care about Emma, and that should be what matters. His voice was calm, but the underlying tension was palpable. Emma's heart swelled. Honestly, Jake, you should have told me if you weren't the right fit for her, Lily said, tossing her hair over her shoulder as if she were flawless. But she deserves someone who's, well, more. Emma felt her heart drop at those words. Was it true? Had she settled? But she glanced at Jake, who met her gaze with fierce determination. I'm not going anywhere, he said, the sincerity in his voice driving away the doubts swirling in Emma's mind. Sarah moved in closer, breaking the electric tension with a laugh that softened the air. Well, let's just say if Emma's happy, that's what counts. Right, Emma? The entire diner seemed to watch as Emma took a deep breath. She realized now that there would always be critics, always be those who didn't understand her choices. But she had her own truth. Her eyes darted between Sarah, Lily, and her dad, who finally stirred in the corner, his brows furrowing as if he were mulling over everything. I can't live my life based on what anyone else thinks, she finally said, her voice strong. Not anymore. I'm with Jake, and that's enough for me. For a fleeting moment, she felt light, like she had shed a weight she hadn't known was there. But then Lily's smile returned with a different kind of mischief. Well, I hope you're ready for what's coming next. There was an edge in her voice that made Emma's stomach drop. What do you mean? Emma asked, instinctively pulling closer to Jake as tension flooded back. Lily simply winked. Oh, you'll see. Emma's heart raced, wondering what storm was brewing just beyond her diner's warm confines. Would fighting for her happiness lead to unexpected battles? The diner buzzed around them, but in that moment, it felt like Emma, Jake, and Lily were trapped in their own little universe. Emma could feel the throbbing tension, hanging thick in the air. Jake shifted in his seat, a protective aura radiating from him as he returned Lily's gaze with calm defiance. Deep down, Emma was grateful for his presence, grounding her amidst the chaotic storm of emotions. Lily leaned closer, an insincere smile twisting her lips. You genuinely believe you can make all of this work? Her words were sharp, slicing through Emma's resolve. I mean, a mechanic? Really? Emma's heart felt heavy, a mix of anger and disappointment sweeping through her. What's wrong with that? Jake is smart, kind, and he treats me well. Isn't that what matters? Lily rolled her eyes dramatically. Sure, if that's what you want. But I just think you could do better. Better? Emma shot back, feeling the heat rise to her cheeks. Better doesn't mean fancier clothes or a glossed-up lifestyle. It means someone who understands me. Someone who supports me. Each word became a mantra, reminding her of the life she wanted to create. Understand you? Or hold you back? Lily asked, an edge creeping into her tone. Before Emma could respond, Sarah's voice broke in. Can we just eat now? This isn't the Real Housewives of Anywhere. Her attempt at lightening the mood brought a hesitant giggle from a couple of nearby tables. But the tension refused to dissipate entirely. Jake squeezed Emma's hand under the table, giving her a reassuring look that said they were in this together, whatever it threw at them. So what's next, Lily? Emma asked, her voice steadier than she felt. Are you going to try and tear me down in front of everyone again? Because I won't let you. Lily's eyes narrowed, but a flicker of surprise crossed her features. You've grown up, haven't you? This is unexpected. I'm not that girl anymore, Emma replied, her heart beating fast. This felt like a dance, a complicated, messy waltz that kept trying to trip her up, but she was here to take control. Guess we'll see. Lily's smile returned but now felt more like a mask hiding something sharp behind it. You may think you're ready for what's next, but the future has a way of surprising people. What are you talking about? Emma asked, a sense of foreboding curling in her stomach. This felt deeper than a petty confrontation. Just saying, you might want to check in on a few things or people, Lily said, glancing sideways as if someone were lurking around. She leaned back, taking a sip of her drink, the hint of a smirk playing at the corners of her mouth. Emma exchanged a worried look with Jake, the gears of her mind spinning. Was Lily threatening her? Did she know something that could disrupt everything? Across the room, the owner of the diner wiped down a table, oblivious to the charged atmosphere settling over their corner. The sounds of cutlery clinking and the laughter of other customers felt muted, as if they were all underwater. "Let us get out of here," Emma finally said, feeling the weight of Lily's words pressing down on her. She stood up, allowing Jake to rise beside her, determination filling every pore. "Not so fast," Lily called after them, her voice smooth yet commanding. "You might want to enjoy the night. After all, I won't be the only one coming back into your life soon." Emma paused, a cold chill creeping down her spine as she faced Lily. "What do you mean by that?" Lily just smiled, a perfect smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You'll figure it out, Emma. Just don't say I didn't warn you." As they stepped out into the cool evening air, Emma felt a swirl of apprehension plucking at her insides. What had Lily meant? Whoever or whatever was coming, they were about to find out just how strong she had become. But deep down, a flicker of courage ignited within her. If Lily thought she could intimidate her, she was about to find out just how fierce Emma could be. Because sometimes, the biggest battles aren't against others, but against the doubts that echo in your own mind. What was coming next would push her to her limits, but maybe, just maybe, she wasn't as alone as she once thought. With determination surging in her heart, Emma took Jake's hand tighter, ready to face whatever storm awaited them. What if the truth unveiled by Lily led to choices Emma wasn't prepared to make? The streetlights flickered overhead as Emma and Jake stepped into the night, the diner's door closing behind them with a definitive thud. The night air was crisp, and the quiet felt almost foreign after the charged atmosphere inside. Emma took a deep breath, letting the coolness fill her lungs and wash away the remnants of Lily's biting words. "Are you okay?" Jake's voice was soft, filled with genuine concern. He glanced at her, his eyes searching hers for any sign of doubt or fear. Emma nodded, but the knot in her stomach remained. "I will be. I can't shake off what Lily said." She shivered slightly, and not just from the cold. What did she mean about people coming back? Jake squeezed her hand tighter, offering a comforting warmth as they started walking. "You know how she is. She loves to stir things up. Don't let her get to you." "Easier said than done," Emma replied, a slight tremor in her voice. She tried to reflect on the evening's events, how Lily had poked and prodded at the cracks in her self-assurance. What if she really knows something? Something we don't? Then we'll figure it out together. Jake's resolve was palpable, but Emma couldn't shake the feeling something was lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to surface and catch them off guard. As they made their way toward the park, distant laughter floated on the breeze, starkly contrasting with the weight in Emma's chest. She loved the park at this hour, its peace a soothing balm, inviting reflection rather than confrontation. Yet tonight, something felt different. Reaching a secluded bench, Emma paused and sat down. What if someone does come back? A vulnerability seeped into her voice. What if it's not just more drama from Lily? What if it's someone who could actually disrupt our lives? Jake knelt beside her, his brow furrowed with thought. "Hey, whatever happens, I won't go anywhere. We'll handle it together. You're not alone in this." The honesty in his words filled some of the emptiness inside her. It feels like everything is on the brink of changing. I wish I could know what's coming." "Maybe that's part of the journey," Jake said, his gaze unwavering. "You're stronger than you think. Whatever Lily hinted at, we'll deal with it one step at a time." A soft smile broke through Emma's anxiety as she chewed on her lower lip, feeling the warmth of Jake's optimism seep into her bones. You really believe that? I know it, he said confidently, rising to sit beside her. And you know what? This whole thing with Lily. It just shows how important you are to her. People lash out when they fear losing something. Emma pondered this. Maybe Lily's behavior came from insecurity rather than power. That thought illuminated a small corner of her heart, but shadows still danced at the edges. She might be growing stronger, but was she ready for whatever lay ahead? The night stretched out before them, vast and unknown, as Emma's mind continued to whirl with possibilities. What if it's someone I really care about? Someone I haven't seen in a long time. Before Jake could respond, a figure emerged in the distance. Under the glow of the streetlight, Emma squinted, her breath catching in her throat as the shadow turned into a familiar outline. Is that? No way. Emma's heart raced in a mixture of disbelief and apprehension. Jake followed her gaze, a frown settling on his face. Emma, who is that? Her heart pounded loudly, drowning out the laughter and the cool night. It was someone from her past, someone she thought she'd left behind. The uneasiness she had felt earlier morphed into a palpable tension as the figure drew nearer, compelling her to face whatever awaited. What if this changes everything? Emma whispered, her voice barely audible as the looming figure approached, ready to confront an uncharted path ahead. The figure stepped into the circle of light, and Emma's breath hitched. It was Ryan, her first love, the boy who had left town just as abruptly as he had entered her life. A tangled mix of memories flooded her mind: high school dances, whispered secrets, and a summer filled with carefree laughter. But now, he was here, standing in front of her, and everything inside her felt both familiar and painfully new. Emma. His voice was tentative, an echo of the boy she once knew. Ryan. She managed, her heart racing. She could hardly believe her eyes. Was this a dream? Or was the universe suddenly playing an elaborate trick on her? Jake shifted beside her, his concern palpable as he clashed with the reality of Ryan's unexpected presence. Emma felt the tension rise. The warm comfort Jake had just offered appeared fragile now against the backdrop of her past. This was a collision of two worlds, and she felt as if she were standing at a precipice. What are you doing here? She asked, trying to keep her voice steady even as her emotions swirled within her like a storm. I came back for a visit, Ryan replied, his eyes searching hers with a familiar intensity that sent a shiver up her spine. Thought I'd stop by and see how everyone was doing, especially you. Her heart swung between surprise and caution. How could he just show up after all this time? Was he here to rekindle old feelings or to simply stir the pot? Jake stood up, his posture defensive. You should have called, he interjected, his voice firm but measured. Ryan shifted his gaze to Jake, then back to Emma, confusion etching his features. Who is this? This is Jake, Emma stated, feeling the protective instinct surging within her. He is important to me. I see, Ryan replied, an unspoken challenge lurking in his tone. The air between them felt electric, charged with unresolved history, and amid Emma's chaotic thoughts, she caught herself comparing the two: Jake's steady presence against Ryan's magnetic pull. Emma, can we talk? Ryan finally asked, his demeanor shifting from casual to earnest, an appeal in his eyes that stirred something elusive inside her. Jake's eyes narrowed slightly, though he said nothing. Emma was torn, the weight of Ryan's presence pulling at her heart. Talk. She echoed, trying to find the right words. Just alone. For a few minutes. Ryan pleaded, and the sincerity of his request brought a flood of nostalgia crashing against her resolve. Emma glanced at Jake, whose expression was hard to read. She sensed his discomfort but also an understanding that this was a moment that might define everything. I need a moment, Emma breathed out, hating the uncertainty in her voice. Sure, Jake replied quietly, his voice steady but laced with concern. I'll be right here, okay? Emma nodded, and as Jake stepped back, the world seemed to shrink around her, leaving just her and Ryan. What do you want to say? She asked, trying to steady her racing heart. I know it's been a long time, he started, his voice softer now, dripping with nostalgia. And I've missed you a lot. The weight of his words felt like a boulder settling in her stomach. Was this the moment everything changed? Could she trust him, or would revisiting the past only lead to more heartbreak? Before she could voice her thoughts, Ryan continued, I've been wanting to explain things weren't what they seemed. There's so much I need to tell you. As Emma met his gaze, the chaos inside her morphed into something more profound. The past was knocking, and it demanded her attention. But what did she really want? Had the years left her more resilient, or were they just a veneer over the heart she thought had healed? Maybe I don't want to hear it, Emma challenged, searching his eyes for honesty. Ryan's expression shifted, a flicker of vulnerability disrupting his confident facade. But what if the truth could change everything? Emma's breath caught, the weight of the moment spread between them as uncertainty hung thick in the air. Could she handle the truth? Would it reveal paths she was not ready to traverse? The looming question echoed in her mind, leaving her at a crossroads with the past, as the future whispered enticing possibilities. What would happen next? Emma's heart was a tempest, torn between nostalgia and the present truth. She felt like she was standing in the eye of a storm, with memories of Ryan swirling around her but anchored by the steadfastness of Jake beside her. Ryan's eyes were pleading, filled with a regret that hinted at a deeper story. Please, Emma. Just let me explain what happened, he urged softly. I never meant to hurt you. The weight of his words hung in the air, pulling at the threads of her memory's sweet laughter, gentle touches, and a first love that felt so profound. But there was a life she'd built since he left, a life with Jake, who understood her in ways she had never thought possible before. Explain. Emma echoed, feeling the walls of indecision rise around her. You disappeared, Ryan. That hurt more than you know. Regret washed over his features. I know I messed up. But I came back because I realized what we had was real. I've missed you every day. His voice broke slightly, and Emma felt a crack of sympathy. But as she glanced to Jake, she saw the tension coiling in his shoulders. He was waiting, offering her space while ready to support her if she decided to stand her ground. It gave her strength. Ryan, I've moved on. I've built a life with someone who sees me for who I am, not just who I was. I can't just jump back into the past, Emma said firmly. Is it because of him? Ryan indicated Jake with a subtle tilt of his head, his eyes searching. You think you're happy with a mechanic? The word struck Emma, echoing the judgments that had haunted them both. It's not about his job, she shot back, feeling anger flare. It's about who he is, honest, hard-working, someone who believes in us. Something you left behind. With that, she turned her full attention to Jake, who was standing just a few paces behind, his heart like an open book in his eyes. In that moment, the contrast between the two men was stark. Jake makes me feel alive, Emma continued, her voice steady now. He makes me laugh when the world feels heavy. We create a future together, brick by brick. Tension thickened in the air as Ryan's expression shifted from determination to realization. But I still care about you, Emma. I thought maybe, just maybe, we could pick up where we left off. No, Emma said softly but firmly. Regaining her strength, she took a deep breath, the cool night air filling her lungs. You had your chance. It's not about what you want anymore. It's about me, my happiness, and my choices. Ryan opened his mouth to retort but paused, perhaps sensing the futility of his argument. He looked at her and Jake, and Emma could see the truth slowly dawning on him. I didn't come back for an easy answer, he finally said. But for what it's worth, I really am happy for you, Emma. You deserve the best. A wave of unexpected sympathy washed over her. Ryan, I hope you find happiness too, just not with me. With those newfound convictions, Emma turned and walked back to Jake. Each step felt like a weight lifting. She didn't need closure with Ryan, she needed to focus on the love that was blossoming right before her eyes. Jake's expression was a mix of concern and pride as she approached. You held your ground, he said, his voice low but filled with admiration. I'm so proud of you. Emma smiled back, feeling a rush of warmth. Thanks for being here, for believing in us. Always, he replied, pulling her into a comforting embrace. But as they stood together, a shiver passed through Emma. Was that the end of her past? Or would Ryan's return unleash unsuspected complications? Do you think he'll really be okay? She looked up at Jake, unsure. I think it's part of his journey now, Jake said, brushing a loose strand of hair behind her ear. He took a deep breath and added, just like this is ours. And whatever comes, we'll face it together. A faint echo of uncertainty lingered, but hope flickered back to life within Emma. She stepped back, looking into Jake's eyes. Together. I like the sound of that. As night wrapped around them and stars twinkled above, she realized love was not merely a feeling but a choice. A choice she made every day, alongside Jake. The past held its memories, but the future was theirs to carve out hand in hand, heart in heart. In that moment, everything felt right. They shared a smile that revealed more than words could express. Maybe Maplewood's small-town eyes wouldn't be kind, but their love felt powerful enough to withstand it all. With renewed courage, Emma took Jake's hand, intertwining their fingers as they walked forward together into the vast unknown just waiting to be written. Stay tuned because the true adventure begins now. And don't forget, this is the moment to show your support. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help spread the love. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending below, I can't wait to read them. And share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans know how important it is to support the channel.